second sentence, quote, "It's almost here," end quote, alluding to the possibility of a Valve SteamOS launch beyond the Steam Deck and the Lenovo Legion solution. He followed that tweet by writing, quote, "I didn't make the image I posted above. It's the official generic splash screen for SteamOS general release, non-Steam Deck devices," end quote. A Twitter user responded, quote, "Please tell me this isn't copium, and indeed a public official SteamOS is going to be a thing soon," end quote. To which the leaker responded, "Not copium. Valve pushed a ton of commits to prepare for SteamOS general public release," end quote. There was some more discussion about whether the general public meant as in user installable, and the leaker responded to say, quote, "That's the plan. However, they originally were targeting people to install it mostly on handheld PCs at the start." And he went on to write, quote, "From what I understand, anyone will be able to download the official image, installed, whatever, and try to install it on their devices, but Valve is mostly insinuating that handheld PCs will have the best experience in doing so," end quote. In the meantime, Lenovo's Legion Go with SteamOS, the new Legion Go that is now up for pre-order and should launch in May, according to PC World. Speaking of gaming handhelds, Qualcomm is planning on releasing 3 new processor solutions for use in them. These include the Snapdragon G3 Gen 3, the Snapdragon G2 Gen 2, and the G1 Gen 2. The company revealed that these chips will be featured in gaming handhelds from companies that include Neo, One X Player, and Retroid Pocket. Now, Neo is maybe the easy one to get.
That'd be really cheap.
Neo, in the best way, has kind of been that meme of releasing like a new handheld almost weekly sometimes. I'm sure the discussion was something like Neo going over to Qualcomm with a, you got any more of the SoCs we could put on new SKUs, because we really need more SKUs right now. The Snapdragon G3 Gen 3 is the flagship here with an 8-core CPU by their definition that has 1 prime core, 5 performance cores, and 2 efficiency cores by their naming. On the graphics side, it's powered by an Adreno A32 GPU, which Qualcomm says is able to support QHD+ displays. The Snapdragon G2 Gen 2 also supports the same resolution and refresh rate displays, but offers 1 fewer performance core and 1 more efficiency core for its CPU. Its GPU is also seemingly scaled down, running the Adreno A22. Finally, the Snapdragon G1 Gen 2 scales the GPU down to an A12 and is relegated to displays that support what they call FHD+, or up to that, which is accompanied by its CPU using an 8-core, as they call it, cryo solution, not as in cold, but only offers 2 performance cores with 6 efficiency cores. Up next, according to a consultancy and data agency, Newzoo, there's over 907.5 million PC gamers, and a lot of them like to play, quote, older live service games, end quote. I don't know what they were talking about. I was just playing games from 23 years ago. So, also Heroes 3, when did that come out? I was playing that the other day too. PC Gamer, who got a hold of the reported data, wrote, quote, "The results are extrapolated from a yearly in-depth survey of 73,000 players alongside data from over 10,000.
Fucking really? Piece of shit, motherfucker.
Extrapolated. So they are taking survey data and expanding upon it. There's obviously, depending on how the survey was done, the sort of cross-section of people they got, there may be some gaps in the data. But let's go through the write-up from PC Gamer and some of the data anyway, just to see what's in there. Now, in comparison, the PC gaming market dwarfs the console audience, which is estimated to be at 653.1 million players. Expanding on what, quote, older games means, PC Gamer wrote this, quote, "The data shows that from January 2024 to December 2024, 64% of player hours on PC were spent on a game that was 6 or more years old. A further 25% of player hours were spent on games that were 2 to 5 years old, and the remaining 8% of time was spent on games that are less than 2 years old," end quote. Highlighting some older live service games that PC gamers still play, Newzoo outlined games like League of Legends, Roblox, Dota 2, and Fortnite. This data aligns pretty well with Steam's hardware survey, which highlights how the 2-year-old 4060 is the most popular video card on the platform, followed closely by the 4-year-old 3060, and there's a lot of laptop representation in there too. Now, SteamDB has plenty of information on the most popular games, and as an example, GTA 5 has remained in the top played list basically since launch, and it launched in 2013 and 2015, if I remember correctly. I think PC got it in 2015. So definitely, it makes sense that the older games are more played. It is interesting to see it in this amount by the extrapolation, 67% of player hours. And personally, I am also in this group, especially because by the time I actually have some time to play a game, normally I'm going, what were the things I was excited about a couple years ago that I never got around to, not what is out now. That's going to be a massive time vampire if I want to really commit to it while it's super relevant. So, all right, we recently reported that Steam served as a means for scammers to distribute malware on its platform. So there's a new Steam scam survey where this time Steam wasn't used as a platform for distribution directly, but it was used indirectly. So last time it was a game called Pirate Fi that we reported on, where there was actual malware that was distributed through the downloader, and Valve sent out a statement to the players who had downloaded it to say, hey, you probably downloaded malware, you should get that checked out. This time though, the game, the quote-unquote game, leveraged the Steam platform to send people off-site to download a so-called demo to then get the malware. So Steam wasn't directly, it was kind of indirectly implicated there. We'll call it a game, it's not really a game, but anyway, the quote-unquote game in question this time is Sniper Phantom's Resolution. And the scam happens when users click on the developer's website link, which we're not going to do in our B-roll, and that was posted on Steam. That enables gamers to then download a supposed free demo. Now, this was flagged by Reddit user feral_wasp. I've never seen a domesticated wasp, but I guess there's pets for everybody. So Feral Wasp had some comments on this and took to the PC gaming subreddit and posted this, quote, "You can tell all of the promotional art is clearly ripped off for other games. Fortunately, you aren't able to download anything from the Steam page itself, but the scare quotes website for the game has very little info and a link for a free demo. The demo is obviously just a virus in disguise, and the domain was registered a week ago. The publisher and developer is listed as Sierra 6 Studios, and this is reflected by the URL to the website," end quote. Now, to the scammer, I have a personal message. Don't you dare tarnish the name Sierra Studios. Sierra had some of the best city builder games of the late 90s and early 2000s that you can find anywhere for PC platforms, including the likes of Caesar 3, Poseidon, and Zeus. I think they did Pharaoh as well. So don't mess this up for Sierra. They had it bad enough when everybody stopped playing strategy games and city builders. But I suppose times have changed. Anyway, Reddit user MentBen3 says he did some additional analysis on the demo and came to this conclusion, quote, "It creates a startup task in the form updater.lnk, which just links back to Windows Defender smartscreen.exe, although an app data roaming high 1337 via create shortcut.vbs, so it can execute its malicious payload on every boot. It's an info stealer, so if you ran it, you need to remove the files it created and change every password for every account you have," end quote. Or in other words, it's a trap. Adding some validity to these claims, looking at the game's Steam store page, there's a notice now that reads, quote, "Sniper Phantom's Resolution is no longer available on the Steam store," end quote. While it's unfortunate that this happened at all, it is a good reminder to carefully vet any third-party links, even if they're sourced from Steam, which appears to be an emerging third-party attack vector now, unfortunately for the Steam platform. Up next, speaking of scams, the FBI has seen an uptick in scams that it says are, quote, "involving free online document converter tools." So just kind of a PSA for you. In an FBI.gov blog post, the FBI Denver field office writes this, quote, "In this scenario, criminals use free online document converter tools to load malware onto victims' computers, leading to incidents such as ransomware," end quote. The post adds, quote, "To conduct this scheme, cyber criminals across the globe are using any type of free document converter or downloader tool. This might be a website claiming to convert one type of file to another, .doc to a .pdf, claim to combine files, such as joining multiple .jpegs into one .pdf file. The suspect program might claim to be an MP3 or MP4 downloading tool," end quote. According to the Bureau, these converters get the job done, which may give the false impression that they are safe, but can contain hidden malware that can give scammers access to sensitive data that might include things like social security numbers, birth dates, phone numbers, banking information, cryptocurrency data, passwords, and more. If you've become a victim to this scam, the agency recommends taking steps to protect your identity, reset passwords, all that stuff, update virus scanning software. Of course, the best thing to do is to not have it happen at all, so just try to your regular ongoing reminder. I don't know, it's gotten, for those of us who grew up in sort of the Windows 95, 98, XP, 2000 ME era, that whole chunk of time, it was like Virus City, and using the internet at all, you were guaranteed to get some kind of malware at some point. Even if it was just from injection through ad code on websites or something, which is a really common attack vector that would compromise totally legitimate otherwise services. But regular reminder, because as time has gone on and the built-in defense tools and the software has worked a lot better, it is still possible to really get screwed, especially
beautiful.
crypto stuff's been a big one.
Beautiful.
A lot of these tools now will look for things like saved, what are they called? Seed phrase, that's what it is. So they'll look for things like simple notepad files, seed phrases that are saved to try and...
Dude, I shifted, man. Fuck this shit.
Stuff like that. So anyway, regular reminder, be safe with that stuff, even with Steam apparently. It's unfortunate there's not better advice than safe, but that is kind of the best advice. Just think twice, before downloading or clicking a link or whatever. All right, our last two stories here, these are kind of fun. So first one involves running Half-Life 2, not Half-Life 2 RTX remake. We talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago. This is just straight up Half-Life 2, and this is from a YouTube channel, Budget Builds Official, which got Half-Life 2 running on a video card with 8 megabytes.
Look at them. Look at them. They're going all from behind for no fucking reason.
For that time. Of course, this is relevant because 8 megabyte GPUs are actually NVIDIA's next gaming GPUs. That's what we'll get next year. All right, the GPU in question is Pine Technologies 3D Phantom XP 2800, which I'd actually personally never heard of. This was released in the mid-2000s. The YouTuber claims it, quote, hardly functions as a display adapter, end quote. It's a hell of an insult. The YouTube channel paired the GPU with an old setup that includes an AMD Athlon 64 CPU and 1 gigabyte of DDR memory running on Windows XP Home 32-bit. Running Half-Life 2 on the system, the game initially struggled to get 15 FPS and would crash every 5 minutes or so, the YouTuber said, even at 640 by 480 running on the lowest preset. But Budget Builds was ambitious and set out to get the game running at 60 FPS. And we've got a link to struggled to get 15 FPS. Running, quote, hardly functions as a that's what we'll get next year. All right, the GPU in question is Pine Technologies 3D Phantom XP 2800, which I'd actually personally never heard of. This was released in the mid-2000s. The YouTuber claims it, quote, hardly functions as a display adapter, end quote. It's a hell of an insult. The YouTube channel paired the GPU with an old setup that includes an AMD Athlon 64 CPU and 1 gigabyte of DDR memory running on Windows XP Home 32-bit. Running Half-Life 2 on the system, the game initially struggled to get 15 FPS and would crash every 5 minutes or so, the YouTuber said, even at 640 by 480 running on the lowest preset. But Budget Builds was ambitious and set out to get the game running at 60 FPS. And we've got a link to the video below in our sources document if you want to check it out. It's a fun video. We'll just give the highlights here so you can watch them for the rest. The setup involved meticulously tweaking config files, which the channel said took many hours.
Let's watch it. Well, where the fuck is that video? Dude, that's so retarded. Just put it into the fucking video. Like, why you gotta... are you that desperate to get the few ads out of this?
A little while ago, we were taking a
This is
look
depressing.
at the worst graphics card I've ever used, releasing with awful specs and only 8 megabytes of VRAM in the mid-2000s. The question today is though, can we make Half-Life 2 run at 60 FPS with awful specs, 8 megabytes of VRAM, and will there be any down with your average budget you run the with just 8 megabytes of VRAM is, well, the only way to describe it, downright awful. The game defaults to DirectX 7 mode, which even then it hardly likes working in, and suffers greatly with stutters, slowdown, and a fairly awful...
Let me get something to eat.
There's the odd time you might just about see 30 FPS in a small dark room. but that is about as close to good as you're getting. This was in 640 by 480 with the lowest settings, so it's almost admirable that Half-Life 2 does actually seem to be somewhat controllable. The only thing is that around 5 minutes of gameplay, you're going to be guaranteed the system will crash. There's no way around it, it's just something that Half-Life 2 tends to do when it's given such little VRAM, and we need to figure out how low things can go to become not just stable, but hopefully playable at 60 FPS. Well, with a combination of every single change and edit I could find, I spent the next couple of hours or so messing around with the lowest possible settings we could get in Half-Life 2. I was changing things in the CFG file that I didn't even remember existed, because even though I've tested some proper budget hardware and have tweaked things down low, I was experimenting with vertical resolutions at one point to see if it made a difference to our FPS. And they did, but not enough for us to actually warrant using them, because you can't actually use the menus. I even tried an 8-bit color mode, which understandably even the Source engine calls you out for doing, and stops working. But eventually we had it all up and running. We had no reflections, minimal textures, no shadows, the game was forced to load up in a maximum of DirectX 6, there was no anisotropic filtering, no anti-aliasing, forced to load all up and running. We had no reflections, minimal textures, no shadows, the game was forced to load up in a maximum of DirectX 6, there was no anisotropic filtering, no anti-aliasing, there were absolutely no effects left untouched or allowed to load. And to top it all off, I used commands to the shortcut, which meant we now had the game loading up in the glorious resolution of just 320 by 240. And the result, well, it no longer crashed, and I've made a full capture of the first sort of 15 minutes of gameplay, with me narrating over the top of it, rambling about just how Half-Life 2 looks and plays with just 8 megabytes of VRAM. Okay, so we are here at the start of the Half-Life 2 intro screen. What I've done is I've got the game running in 320 by 240, so we've managed to get it running in probably the smallest resolution where it still actually works. I've turned off virtually every effect, every feature, every single thing that could possibly cause us problems. And this is the best experience we've managed to achieve with just 8 megabytes of VRAM. And you all wanted to see this, so this has been a painful time getting here. But why don't we go ahead and start a new game? And we're going to see how well this works. Because it's not entirely stable, but it no longer crashes, the text doesn't fit on screen, and it has a few other quirks. So the frame rate generally seems like it's a lot better. It is still liable to drop down quite badly, not as bad as it was before, down to crashing levels, but this is it. There we go, the original Black Mesa experiment running at probably about 8 to 10 FPS. I mean, we did get an okay average when I tested it, but this is it. This is the optimal way to play Half-Life 2 on a 3D Phantom graphics card. So we're not in for a good time. I had to close Explorer.exe. The game will not run any lower than 16-bit colors, and I mean this is running all right. This before was completely unplayable, but now, I mean, I can't really make out what's going on too well, but the frame rate doesn't seem the worst. I mean, it's controllable and it's responsive, and when we look down, we're getting near enough 60 FPS. This is probably going to be one of the few videos I actually upload in 60 FPS, because I am currently recording to try and show you exactly what I'm seeing. So we'll wait to get off the train and we'll see how things carry on. I mean, the chairs are blue and are having a disco. The doors, things are spawning in as we approach them, so you can't really tell what's what. We pick things. Yeah, we've still got physics effects. We still chuck things about. This looks absolutely hideous. Yeah, I mean, it's still working. It's actually running at about 60 FPS here, which I never thought we'd see on a 3D Phantom graphics card. We're running in DirectX 6 with the lowest everything and then a config file, but I'm sure I've already said this at this point because that's what the point of the video was, getting it working. And if you don't know your way around Half-Life 2, you're in for a bad time, because I can't really tell where I'm going, and I've played this game. Well, I've played most of it before. So we'll see, and we'll get through here. Oh, look at them wall textures. That is that looks like the dirt texture from Minecraft Alpha, and the lighting effects are really something else. I mean, look at that. That is impressive by standards of 1987. We've also got rooms where things are loaded in there, and that does make up what looks to be a combined soldier. I just got no other way of showing you this other than to actually just straight up play through it. So, I mean, the intro runs okay. Can we start Root Canal? Because Root Canal... So why don't we give that a go? Because nice. Full 60 FPS. And can we rush down here? Do we actually have... But this is running better than I've ever seen it run before on this graphics card. Oh, the smoke effects are something else. And how's it going to run when we're outside? Now, this bit is quite taxing when you've got no VRAM. And it's still really taxing when you've got no VRAM. Because where it's loading in the train that comes over here, as it loads in, that will get slightly better. I mean, and we'll just try and play through this bit. It is a lot.
That's why my older computers, whenever the train comes in, I get a huge stutter. I get like 10 FPS for a while.
The mouse cursor is appearing when
he finally explained that. Like, actually, it makes a shit ton of sense.
But now the train's on here, our frame rate should go up, and it did. And the main thing is there's no insane input latency anymore. This is actually running relatively playably. I mean, the explosions work. Do these explosions work? Running at the smallest amount of... So, no clue what's happening. Oh, it takes me back to the good old something you can do any just the reading looks going 60. Nice. We should get healed up here. Look at this guy here. Got nice do that. So far, I mean, we do, which is...
This world is depressing, man. I want to go back to work. I'm done with shit,
probably going to crash the system. No, it didn't crash. And look at the lighting on that plane. Can we throw a box on it? Look at that. That's some realistic graphics right there. Yeah, I'm calling this a big success. I don't know whether I'll be signing off with 305 with 8 megabytes of VRAM. Changing the CFG files, we were able to take a game that is one of probably the best looking games of 260 FPS.
I have a feeling like he just copy pasted all of this, by the way. He's pretending like he typed it. All reality, he just like copy pasted that shit. Easily. not gonna play him to be honest, cause I don't give a shit about Overwatch Classic. I just want the 6v6, man. Okay, buddy. It's about 2 gigabytes.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I can't hear shit about it because of the.
I mean, it's alright, like.
Posting you to be is insane, not gonna lie. Well, can't help.
I'm tired, boss.
Man, this music is dog shit.
Their efforts. The enemy has outpaced us.
Hello. Good to see you.
How the fuck did he swap? Ah, I need a heal.
Resurrection.
Enemy over here. I am on
Barricade proceed.
Hello. Good to see you.
We're catching up.
There's a test subject.
this, bro. Nobody can heal me. Nobody can do shit. Oh, fucking Juno and Anna just taking his shit in the fucking alley, bro. Oh, I hate this game so much, bro. 6v6 sucks. Anna's like just useless. I swear to God. Excuse me, not Anna, Myra.
Put a stop to their push. Upgrade It's go time. Time for the reckoning. Nano reset minute. I see a hostile.
I can't stim to this.
You can't stem to this? What does that mean?
Feed cam.
What? Okay, I'm done. Fuck it. Fuck it, dude. Fuck it, dude.
Crush the enemy.
Give me the gift I so desired.
Pushing the barricade.
What gift? What are you talking about? Man, I don't wanna. I'm not. This is my last game. I'm not gonna lie. I serve no joy from this. Too sleepy. Yeah, just throwingly random throw fucking alts. Like fucking bunch of retards. I woke him up like a moron. I'm so dumb.
Voice on loss.
Oh, can't help, stupid. Just finish this or so done. I really don't want them to win. I'm so done. It's a fucking waste of time. I'm trolling on purpose, bro. These guys don't deserve a win, I swear to God. Oh, fucking. here, bro, please.
Time for the reckoning now. If we stop them, it's over. Enemy forward spawn.
What is this gay shit, bro? Stop.
Rocket barrage incoming.
Let the push commence. Big stagger left.
Oh, please C9, please C9, please C9. I'm so done. I don't want to fucking finish this match. We're not gonna win. Don't fucking. Here's what's gonna happen. They have Tracer ult. They have Boom Skula shot.
Keep pushing.
I think they have Orisa. No, they don't have Orisa. You know what? Maybe we do have. Maybe we can win actually. Now that I think about it. At least we're gonna end up with a one. Who cares? I don't know why they throw. Alright, that's enough. I'm going to sleep.